Running fans, jumping fans, throwing fans, all around athletics fans, welcome to Talking in Ovals. I'm Alex Cuesta. What's going on, Dave? How are you over there? We got to get through this quick today.
I am just trying to navigate 3 days with my fiance on vacation at her friend, and I think that I'm doing a pretty good job. But as you know, as a married man, it's tough when they're not here.
Yeah, we're kind of useless without our significant others, and
It is definitely tough, yeah. But I'm going to make it. She'll be back.
You might be like a little bit, you might lose some weight. Like you can go either way. You might lose weight because you just won't eat because she's not making things for you, or you might gain weight because you'll just eat a bunch of crap that she doesn't yell at you. It could go one or the other with that.
Yeah, but you know what? But there's this thing called DoorDash that kind of throws a big wrench into that whole equation. So
my wallet hates DoorDash, therefore I hate DoorDash because it's so freaking expensive. But anyway, we're going to jump right into things. So before we get going, today is Tuesday, January 9th, 2024. This is episode 70. If you like what you hear today, give us a like, share, follow, subscribe, rate 5-star Spotify and iTunes. Spread this word of mouth. Go look for us on the socials at Talking in Ovals. So last week we had a fun show as always. We had Jim Lambert on. You've heard him before. We're thinking that is going to be a seasonal thing where Jim comes in, gives us a roundup of everything that happened in New Jersey after every season. We give a look forward to the future season, because that guy forgot more of New Jersey track and field than I ever remembered. So it's always a blast having him on. If you haven't heard the episode last week, go back and give it a listen. But I want to get started with this week because Dave, God, I don't know what the hell we're doing. This is something that we've never done before. In my 7 years of doing a show, I've never attempted anything like this, but I think it's going to be freaking awesome.
It's going to be amazing.
We've had the privilege of all year, early on in the show's inception, we had on Westfield coach Chris Tafelski on, and we talked about, his running experience and things like that and coaching and all that type of stuff. And he told us he thinks that this year's team could be really good. And at that point, you think your team could be really good. You're thinking maybe county, state competitive, things like that. Maybe coach knew, but I don't think either Dave and I understood how good that this Westfield team could be. And they ended up finishing 19th in the nation, which is something that very few public schools do. Go up, compete against all these parochials and private schools, and really did something special. Put New Jersey public schools on the map. And, me and Dave are both public school guys, so we freaking love that. And it's just really cool. So Dave had the idea of, hey, why don't we just get like the whole team on? Or, I had to kind of limit to him, like, hey, let's try and get like their top group. And then Tafelski's like, it's kind of tough. We didn't have one top group. We had, a bunch of seniors that just ran real fast. And it's like, okay, let's do your 7 seniors then. So we're pumped. We have on the Westfield XC team, 19 in the nation, Coach Tafelski and his assistant coach, Matt Van Deursen. Coach Tafelski, I'm going to start with you. What's going on, man? Thanks for coming back.
Hey, thanks for having us. This is a really special thing for us.
Absolutely. And Coach Van Deursen, what's going on? How are you?
I'm good. This is neat to be a part of. We got a nice group of kids here.
Oh, I'm pumped. I'm pumped to talk to your boys.
Absolutely.
Coach Tafelski, you want to give us the rundown of who we got on the show today?
Yeah. So our top 7 in I'll go alphabetical order because I can't go in finish order because it was never the same. But Ryan Daly, our lone junior. Then we got Jimmy Gildea, Avery Keith, Graham Korins, Eamon Mason unfortunately is ill and couldn't join us. Tage Mehta and Alex Valencia.
Yeah, so we got a good group of guys there, and you've heard us. Coach Tafelski was one of the loyal ones that would send us a bunch of PRs. So I'm pretty sure you've heard each of these names talked about before at some point in the show.
Yes, indeed.
Because all these guys were doing great things. So, boys, how's it going? We're happy to have you guys on. You can all say hi at once. I don't care. You could say hello.
Thanks for having us. It's really cool.
Hello.
All right, so I want to start right away. So one of the things that we do with the show, I don't know if you gentlemen listen to the show. You don't have to lie and say that you do. We're a bunch of boomers. You don't have to listen to the boomer show. I get it. But I want to start off. I want to give you guys a chance to each kind of tell us what made you start running? What made you get into the sport? So I want to start with Graham. Graham, jump in right away and tell us, why did you start running? Because one of the jokes that I always make is like kind of nobody likes running. People like being good at running, but nobody really likes it. Kind of sucks, right? It's tough. It's a really tough freaking sport. So Graham, what made you want to get started with running and why did you do it?
Well, like many of my teammates here, I came from a soccer background. So, I mean, I think there's just always a pipeline. There's always been a pipeline between soccer and running.
Oh yeah.
And during a tryout for freshman soccer, I ran a pretty good time trial. So I figured I should probably just try out track, and it went well. So
Love it.
I feel like everyone's biggest fear is like getting good at track, because then it's like, well, crap. Now my sport that I really wanted to do, that kind of sucks. So that, it is a definite typical pipeline with soccer. So Alex, you're up next. What made you want to start running? Why did you jump into all this?
Yeah, so like almost all the seniors on our team, I started playing soccer. We were all on the same team at one point. But as I grew older, I kind of just like fell out of love with soccer. And I really didn't want to do it in high school, but my parents forced me to do a sport. So I figured I'd sign up for cross country. And at first it was rough, but I grew to like it. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, you decided to engage some pain, because people just think like, oh, I'm going to go run cross country. I see those guys jogging around, and then you do it and you're just like, oh, okay, this is what it is. Like that 8-pack shows up overnight and it's like, this is awesome. Running really gets me in good shape.
Yes.
So we're jumping in. So I want to have Tage, you're up next. What got you jumping into the sport?
My sister ran in high school, and my dad did too. And I played soccer. I figured I was only ever going to be like a mediocre soccer player. I figured maybe I could do something special with running, and it turned out to be pretty fun.
Yeah, that's awesome that you had, that good experience there. So Ryan, you're up next. Give us your rundown. Let's see. Are you another soccer guy? You there, Ryan? Yep.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I was also really a soccer player as well, a year behind the guys though, but really it was just like when I was going into freshman year, my brother was going to be a senior and he kind of ran. So I went to a couple practices in the summer and just started to love it. So that's kind of how I just started and stuck with it.
Very good. Very good. Jimmy, you're up next. What's your story?
Similar to all these boys, I mean, there's a pipeline of soccer, but initially what introduced me, when I got introduced to running, was when I was cut from my freshman basketball team. So my mom suggested to join the winter track team, and initially started as a sprinter. It took me about a month to realize maybe sprinting is not my best suit, so I transferred over with Tafelski's permission to long distance, and after training for soccer for sophomore year, I decided to join cross country, and it's been the best decision ever made since.
I think that is going to be my favorite line of the whole podcast, with Tafelski's permission. I like
with
that.
Tafelski's. Need to get coach's permission there. And last but not least, Avery, what got you getting into running?
Yeah, so I was a soccer player. I played soccer freshman and sophomore years. And yeah, like these boys, over COVID, I couldn't practice in person for soccer, so I would go for runs with my dad. And then at the tryout for freshman year soccer, I realized I was kind of fast and started running. My first running group was with Jimmy and Graham, actually. So we've been running together for 4 years now. So soccer.
Yep. That makes sense. So everyone, the soccer transplant. So for all soccer coaches, don't let your guys do indoor, outdoor track and run distance, because you're probably going to lose them.
And now that, I mean, we've had on people who have been in the Olympics, coaches. I think we've had maybe one or two who just started running from the start. It was always like soccer, swimming. So you guys are not you guys are not alone there.
Yeah, definitely. So Coach Van Deursen, I want to talk to you. Kind of what's your background in the sport? Like, obviously you got, to coach this amazing team. Are you a runner? Did you run? When did you start? Give us a little rundown of yourself.
I have a little bit of a similar story. I was a soccer player too. I grew up in a family of coaches. There's like 4 family members of mine that coach too. But they all kind of let me play soccer and see that out. And then I got put on JV as a junior in soccer. And then I kind of saw the running on the wall a little late, but that's okay. Then I did some running in college. I swam too. And then I coached at a small public school, and cross country was always my favorite of the 3 seasons. And so, once an opportunity came to coach at Westfield, to get the ability for a small public school to kind of peek over the fence and see what, one of the elite teams does. it couldn't really pass up on that. So, and it's been awesome ever since.
That's great. And you are, you're coaching under one of the greats in New Jersey, and Coach Tafelski's modest. He's not going to tell you that himself, but he's going to be one of the guys that if he continues on this path, he's going to be a legend. And Coach Tafelski, I want to start with this. I want to ask you, we're going to go through a little more specifics in the season, but at what point in this year, in this season, did you start to really think like, hey, this team could do some special stuff? Like, right, you're going into it, you see your group, you see the training in the summer, and you're like, we might have something here, right? At what point in the season were you just like, this is special? I don't want to jinx it, but this is really special. Where were you at there?
That was probably, I would say the guys probably remember we went before school started, we did a workout at Homedale, and we had never done it. We hadn't done this workout in years, but it's a workout that a lot of the local teams down by Homedale Park do pretty frequently. They do the, particularly early season, like late summer. We do like cycles of the front woods, come out of the front woods, run right across the street, come down the back woods to the finish line, and then just kind of bounce from the finish line to the start line. So we did cycles of that. And I had only done that workout with a group like maybe 4 or 5 times before, and we hadn't done it in 3 or 4 years. But I still have like the workout sheet from those days when we did it. And so I'm watching the guys come through, and like the first one, they kind of understood the idea of the workout, and then it was like, okay, let's just kind of see where it goes from there. And we just kind of just opened up a little bit more, and opened up a little bit more, and opened up a little bit more. And I was like, shoot, maybe, am I reading this workout sheet right? Because like, this is a lot faster than, and I'm remembering the kids who hit the times that they had hit 3 or 4 years ago when we last did it. And we had 7, that was our top kid, really had a special day that day. And we had 7 guys who all outdid that. And that kid was ultimately was a 16-15 Homedale guy.
Yeah.
So it's like, like you said, you don't want to jinx it. And like, I think even Avery said, like, I don't know whether to be excited about this workout or what, because I've never done this workout before. Is that good? Like, I'm like, it's good. It's good.
Yeah, on the inside, you're just like, this is freaking incredible. On the outside, you're like, I don't want to gas them up too soon. Like, I don't want to make them feel like, that kind of had to be fun for you to be like, I got something here, but I don't want to let them know right away.
My head exploded a little bit. And I don't think Van Deursen was there, right? I think we split the team up that day, and you stayed in Westfield. I texted Van Deursen out like as we were, kind of winding practice down, and I was like, okay, and then guys, first meet, we opened up at Bowdoin. We opened up a little bit later because we were anticipating the possibility that NXN might be a thing. Right out of the gate, that first meet at Bowdoin, they just knocked it out of the park. We're like, okay, here we go.
I'm kind of pissed. I never got to any of the Bowdoin meets because Bowdoin's in my backyard up in Poughkeepsie here. Like, it's like I'm 15 minutes away. So it's like, I wish I would have not had things to do. I think I worked both times at the Bowdoin meet, which kind of pissed me off. But I got to figure out a way to get over there. But so I want to kind of fast forward. We're going to sprint through a lot of the other meets, and we're going to go right to counties.
Yeah.
Counties, I think, was a huge moment for you guys as a team, right? You were already rolling. You were running really well in meets. You guys were, the favorites, right? You guys were the team that everyone thought was going to win. So I want to get, who am I going to get the opinion? Tage, you're coming in this one. Once counties happens, obviously, I'd imagine you guys were disappointed in the result, right?
Yeah, definitely.
What was it like? What was the thought process? Obviously group texts are things. You guys talk to each other. Cross-country teams are some of the closest teams around. What was the feeling, the emotion, and how did you guys pick yourselves up?
So, it was pretty bad, that loss. I think we were all kind of surprised and like annoyed, angry, all that. But then the bus took us back, and we went to go sit in the bleachers, all of us, and we had like a mini team meeting after the race. And half the meeting was like you got to get like angry. You can never let this happen again. Like this was like, how did this happen? And then the other half was like, okay, like just stay the course. Like we know we were working hard. We didn't run as well as we should have. Like, let's just like kind of just do better next time, like stay calm, keep putting the training in and move on. And I think everyone had their own mix of like those two emotions, right? Like losing that was like how on earth did we just lose that? And I mean, UC ran like incredibly well, but obviously we thought we had it. But yeah, so I think everyone had to work out for themselves a little bit, like how much do I need to like feel those like angry feelings, those like super annoyed feelings, and how much can I like just trust Tafelski, trust the training, like trust everything we're doing, and like keep moving forward.
Yeah. So Avery, I have a question. After that county loss, was there any negative talk, or did you guys all just try to stay really, really positive and just look at it as kind of a little hiccup and just kind of keep everything rolling as it was?
Yeah, so like Tage said, there was definitely some negative talk. We had our team meeting in the bleachers, and the first part of it was Eamon, who's not here with us. He was trying to get us like fired up. He was like, "How do we let this happen? Like we can't let this happen. Like what happened?" And of course, he just wanted to feel the pain, and he wanted us to bounce back harder from that. But after about 5 minutes of ranting, we were like, "All right, this is just a small road bump or, roadblock. This is a small bump in the road, whatever." And Tafelski always tells us, there's going to be some point in the season when you're going to face a challenge, when kids are going to be sick, whatever, you're going to not have a good race. And it's just not going to be what you expect. And we were like, all right, this is probably our roadblock. And just like Tage said, stay the course, trust the training, and kind of move on. So there was definitely some negative talk in there, but all good. Yeah, we moved on, obviously, and it turned out pretty good.
Yeah, I'd say so. So, Graham, I want to jump to you here. Looking back at it now, do you think it's almost a good thing that happened to you guys when it did? That like the season up to that point was rolling pretty damn well for you guys. You were all running pretty strong. And, like I said, you guys were the favorites going in there. Do you think it might have been a good thing to be kind of a kick in the ass for the team? Like, hey, don't get complacent. Keep bringing it every single time. Nope. Did Graham freeze?
Yeah.
I think Graham might have froze there. So since Graham froze, I'm throwing it to Alex.
Yeah, I feel like
there it is. Graham's back.
We said after the fact that this is probably something that's important. Sorry, do you hear me?
Yeah, we heard you. You were just skipping a little bit. It's okay. No, Graham's skipping.
Sorry.
It's all good. It's all good.
Did you miss that? Sorry.
It's all good, buddy.
Something it's something that like after the race we kind of recognized that that's something that was important for us to experience, because I think we were getting too complacent and we're like almost overconfident. And I think we adjusted to the.
Oh no, Graham's connection. Bye, Graham. We appreciate, your connection is meh. And I just want to reiterate to everyone that's listening, the weather is awful outside. So we will have some connection issues on this episode. So that's okay. But yeah, no, absolutely. I think, that's something. So I want to sprint ahead a little bit. We get to Meet a Champions. Coach Van Deursen, what was Meet a Champions like? Going in there, training wise, watching these guys compete, and giving CBA a freaking run for their money. But then knowing you're going to see them at regionals, right? So it was kind of let's see what we got here. Let's see how we match up. What was that like for you watching that and kind of from the coaching side looking at it?
Yeah, I think, we've been trying to take things 1 week at a time, and not looking too far down the road. I think we had a really good race plan going forward. We had, when people get into championship meets, sometimes they think of times, they think of splits. And I think our guys did a really good job thinking about their place in the race, not looking at certain singlets, not looking at, how fast the race is going out or how slow the race is going out. I think an important thing for regionals and then NXN was we need to feel the race. We need to go out and we need to, yes, we have a chance at CBA, and I think our kids really competed well. But it was interesting to watch the race unfold, seeing the different, how kids did the week before and then how they did this week, and, seeing the numbers change in the order of our finishers. But it was exciting, and I think our kids raced really well to the plan that we had. But it was, again, like we said, it was a path on the journey, and we were kind of looking ahead, but I think our kids did a good job of, looking at it and taking things week by week.
Awesome. Absolutely. So, Ryan, I'm giving you this one. As the junior on the team, on this group right now, did you feel any like excess pressure to kind of always perform for your seniors, always to try and put out as good of a race as you can? Because, you have a lot of experience there around you. You have a lot of really talented runners there. You're a fantastic runner in your own right. But like, you're there, counties happens. Now you're at Meet of Champs and you're looking, going like, did you put a little extra pressure on yourself, or was your team really good about kind of just keeping you guys grounded in the moment?
I think like early season, I thought like I needed to be like a hero, but in the middle of the season, towards the end, we all kind of like, we were pack running the whole season, and I knew the guys were like on each other all season long, all race long. So I knew like if I fell off or if someone fell off, we would be there to pick each other up right after.
Definitely. That's good. And, and you need that, right? You need that with the team, especially in XC. It's pretty easy to kind of get caught up in things sometimes, especially because it's such an individual sport, right? Cross country is incredibly individual. So you got to keep that team aspect. So I want to jump over to regionals, and Dave, you could jump in anytime you want, throwing things in there.
No, I was actually gonna ask. No, I'm saying I was gonna ask Coach, because I think that their best race was regionals. I thought they ran a wonderful race. How many teams going into that meet, Coach, did you really think were going to be problematic? And did you kind of have a sense that you would advance, or were you kind of up in the air the whole time?
We were looking based on who we've been tracking all season. We knew there was going to be CBA and us. We were watching Ridgefield from Connecticut. They were the New England champions.
Oh yeah,
we were watching Brookline from Massachusetts. So we knew that those four teams were dangerous. And the other thing too is you look at the history of those regional meets, and like last year, Episcopal Academy kind of just showed up, and they weren't on my radar. Maybe I wasn't paying close enough attention. All of a sudden they showed up and bang, they're going. So there's always that like wild card factor at the regional meet. But so we were watching those teams pretty closely over the course of the race. Our guys did a really terrific job of getting in good positions, the positions they wanted to get into early. Bowdoin is tricky that way. Bowdoin and Holmdel are both. They're tricky that way. You want to get the right position, but if you go out too hard, you're going to have problems.
That second mile sucks.
Yeah. So like it's like there's like a really fine line. There's an art to it, and our guys did a really good job of figuring that out over the course of the year. And in the early season races, you're on the same course, but it doesn't mimic the experience because it's not a high traffic situation. You can kind of do whatever you want, whenever you want, when you're at the shore or you're at the Bowdoin Classic in September. So then you get to the regional race and it's just a huge traffic jam. So it's a huge level up when you get there. So, but Dave, to the last point of your question, when everybody came in and people are like, coming up to us and high-fiving us and congratulating us, and I'm like, I need to see it. I need to show me somebody's phone. Get me a phone. Of course. And there's something about the way we run cross country is any course that matters, the cell phone reception is terrible. Yep. So you're waiting, like I need to see it, And so, but I will say, with about a little less than a mile ago, Tage, Alex, Jimmy, Ryan, Eamon, all like really, really close together in about 20th place, give or take 3. And Tage gave me a look. He gave me a look, like just like almost like a wink. Like he knew he's looking around, he's seeing his boys. And if our 6th guy is in like 30th place, like good luck to the field.
Right. Yeah. That was, just seeing the result. I remember Dave texting me like, they got second. Like, it was like, oh, that's freaking awesome. Like we were pumping. It was like, it was even closer than Mox. Like it was just such a really good race. And, again, with a higher level of competition. So Jimmy, going to you here, your motto a lot of this year was just to be solid, right? Just be solid every single race. How important was that mindset going into regionals of, not letting the moment get too big? Obviously, your runners up in the meet of champions, CBA is a good team and you really matched up well, right? Gave them a good run. But here you guys come in and you give them an even better one on a freaking tough course at Bowdoin. You were there once. It's not an easy course. How important was that mindset of just going in there, be solid? Don't try and do anything crazy. Run, be solid. Like how was that? How important was that for you guys just to keep that mindset?
Before I begin, I have to give credit to Tafelski for that, because he was the one who put that motto in our minds. And for the MOC was kind of run a little differently than groups, and it was kind of more so controlled in the first mile. So maybe it didn't go to plan how we wanted to, so the times weren't really there. But I think the confidence carrying on from groups and even races before in the season kind of carried into regionals, and I think we just had a positive mindset towards it. We had 2 weeks off. We had a really good training block, and I think that confidence mid-race, as Tafelski mentioned before, of all the boys being together, especially in the first mile and even throughout the whole race, seeing 2 or 3 guys around you in the last mile, trying to catch some guys down is really impressive. And I think that's what really motivated us to cross the finish line and ultimately be in second place at regionals, and led to the amazing experience we had at nationals. So yeah, I really think that motto held true to itself, and hopefully we can do the same thing in the winter and spring. And I'm really looking forward to a successful year with these boys.
Right, so I have a question for Avery again. So based upon your season, you probably would have had a good shot of qualifying as an individual either at Foot Locker or NXN. How much more did it mean to you to be the leader of this team and to go that far with your whole team as opposed to what it might have been if you went as an individual?
Yeah, I mean, Foot Locker was never an option. From the beginning, from this past summer, from last year, from 3 years ago, we've known that this is a important year, and we had big things coming. So Foot Locker was definitely never in the question. I think I told the boys like a week or two before, and this may be cocky to say, but I was like, you know what, this weekend for regionals, I'm going to do my job, and that means I'm going to qualify. And if you guys do your job too, then we'll all qualify together. But I kind of knew that going in that a good race for me would have been top 5 or give or take a few spots, which would have qualified me as an individual. But we've gone through so much together that it absolutely would not have been the same experience had the whole team not gone. So I'm really grateful that we all qualified and that we had a great weekend together, great experience at nationals.
And here's the thing, bro. You're allowed to be a little bit, pumped up. You had an amazing season. These past 2 years that you've had, considering outdoor last year, carrying into XC this year, you can, obviously you don't want to be cocky, but if I was you, your confidence should be soaring. Like you definitely have that, right to be really pumped up, especially going into here. So Alex, I'm jumping down to you. How important was it to you for, you guys in the pack? Obviously, Avery's up there doing his thing. And listen, it's always fun when you see, as a teammate, you see someone doing something special, right? Like, it's great. But at the same time, realizing what you guys had as a team and how many different mixtures of top 5s, top 7s you guys had, how important was it for, someone like you who was more of a pack guy to just keep that mindset going? Any given day, I could be 3, I could be 4, I could be like, how important was that knowing that, there was no true order to this team, so you had to go out and give it your all every time?
I think it was definitely a contributing factor to our success as a team. Just seeing how each order changed depending on the race, it kind of allowed me to build like a certain amount of trust in my teammates, and it made me more comfortable, especially in races, knowing that if I pass one of my teammates, that this might just not be their race, or it's not like if I pass I passed our 2 guy, then it's like it doesn't matter because someone can fill in that spot. So I think because of this, it allowed us to like kind of work together more and just trust in each other, especially since we were training all fall, all summer together. Just the trust that we had in each other allowed us to run more comfortably, and it allowed us to be like more controlled, especially in like like tough races.
And I definitely know from myself, running XC and stuff, it's actually worse when a teammate passes. You kind of look at it and you're like, you bastard. And then you want to run a little bit faster and go catch them. Like, there's nothing worse than that. It makes you want to work a little bit harder. So I want to
have a question real quick.
Oh, go ahead, Dave.
For Graham, I hope his connection is better. So being the 7th person most of the year, how much inner drive did you have to make sure that you stayed on this top 7 because of how great that this team was? And did that motivate you to keep working harder and harder every day? Say, I got to stay with these guys. I got to stay in this top 7 so that I can be on this wonderful historic team.
Yeah, I think it was clear pretty early on, or not clear, but it was anticipated pretty early on that we're going to do pretty great things this season, such as like go to nationals. And that's just something that we've always been looking forward to and always have been talking about. So I just knew that was something like I cannot miss. It was definitely a motivating factor to just like drive me through training, even when training got difficult, like it always does. So, yeah, when I knew that we were going to go to NXN, I was like, damn, that paid off. Like, I'm glad I had that motivation.
I love it.
Coach Tafelski, let's talk about nationals, because nationals, outside of having to coach, it is a whole smorgasbord of things that I don't think people understand, that you're now taking 7 high school kids, young men, but still high school kids, trying to get them to stay focused on a race when all that pomp and circumstance is going around, the logistics of it and everything. You experienced this once in 2011, right? So you kind of had a little bit of experience with it, but what was it like doing it again? And talk about doing it with this group as well.
Well, yeah, it is a lot of flashing lights and shiny objects for a while. And, they do that deliberately. There's like a wow moment every hour that you're there, from the minute you land until you're racing, and really until you're back home. So it's tricky, because especially I think coming out of the Northeast, there's a lot of, message board gurus who think they know everything, but it is tough. I think if the Northeast, and New York and the other regions that run the region the week before the national meet, it is an emotional roller coaster for that week. That I think is from the emotions of qualifying, right? Like even positive emotions are tiring, you know? Yeah. And so there's that. And then you've got like 3 days to like get everything in order before you fly across the country for 4 days. So there's that, like, what am I packing? What are we doing at practice? Like all that stuff. And then there's the travel and the toll that takes. And then like, you're walking around and there's Cole Hocker and there's Woody Kincaid and there's Cooper Tier and the
so fact that you didn't go talk to all of them and get them on our show, we were going to talk about that later, Coach.
Yeah. I could have done a better job recruiting.
Been the liaison.
Yeah. So there's, and then there's gear and there's all that stuff. And somewhere in there, there's a race, and so like there's a lot of that. So actually the experience of having been there in 2011, I think was really important because, I kind of knew what to expect, and it was like easy. So before we left, it was like, hey guys, this is kind of the way it's going to be, and focusing on the competition is really important. But really, truly, like I probably said more than I needed to say on that because these guys were locked in the whole way. They knew like we're not just happy to be there. We're not just we're there to be a factor, right? And so. In 2011, I think that was a little bit different because we were an at-large bid. We were, CBA had beaten us by I think it was 85 points that year, as opposed to this year where it was only a 10-point gap at the regional meet between us and CBA. So I think the guys were super serious about being there to make a difference and be a factor in the meet. So there were definitely some times like, hey guys, lights out. And it's like, dude, we've been in our room for 45 minutes already. So I thought the guys really did a great job of staying focused throughout that whole thing.
I had to say
that is not easy. I mean, it is not easy. Not. I mean, there's distraction after distraction after distraction. So kudos to you guys for staying on the task.
Definitely. And I have to say, I'm jealous that you guys have all the swag, because when I was at Marist, all the kids that had like the NXN stuff, I'm like, you bastards. That's awesome. Like they give some pretty cool stuff. So that's freaking great that you guys got all that.
Great.
So Coach Van Deursen, so what was your experience like? Have you ever been to nationals before this? And if so, talk about, your experience now versus then. And if not, what was it like?
No, I had not been there. But it was same thing as Coach Tafelski said, like a lot of flashing lights for us coaches too.
Yeah.
And we get excited seeing Woody Kincaid, listening to them also, but I agree. Like, these kids have been locked in since really like their freshman year or sophomore year. And going through, the kids were able to learn a lot. I think we had some good Q&As from a lot of the professional athletes. They got to hear about real questions and real stories. Coach Tafelski and I got to hear from other coaches throughout the country, hearing same problems that that we have. And they're like, oh, right, you teach high schoolers too, And it was interesting meeting some of those coaches from other parts of the country too. So we got a little different perspective meeting some of those people than some of the kids may have. But it was a different experience than I've been used to. And I think, though, that the kids really did a good job being focused. And I think it's easy to be distracted, but they were really focused. It was really impressive, to be honest, because if I were a high school there, then yeah, I'd be distracted too. I'd want to stay up and meet all these other people that are from other schools and out of state, and then let these kids know they were in bed right away. They took care of themselves. They got good sleep. They ate well. It was really impressive.
So go ahead, Dave.
Oh, I have a question for Ryan. So after the Nationals is over and everything's in, how long did it take for you guys to reflect, or were you guys all right? Now it's on to the winter season, because I'm hoping that you guys took the time to be able to reflect on everything that you guys did for that whole season. So I guess we can kind of go around here to everyone. How long did it take to remember all that and to put everything into perspective, or were you like, oh, it's time for the winter season?
No, yeah, certainly. I think we kind of still reflect on it to this day.
As you
and
should.
I think on the cool down too of that race, I think we really were just we just did that. We accomplished all that, all this season, all that work, and we got here and just kind of really telling ourselves how our hard work paid off for us.
I love it. And all right, so Tage, how about you?
I think it definitely took a second, because that wasn't, obviously the best race for our careers for any of us. So that day, the rest of that trip was some mix of what just happened to us, and then also we just had an amazing season. Let's just appreciate this, and you ran hard, it happened, and just let's keep moving. Because I don't know, it's really weird to think about what we've accomplished, knowing all the other guys on the team. These are just people that we know, we're friends with, and we just went out there and raced. So then to come back and hear people saying talking about our accomplishments was it was really weird, because when we're doing it, it was always just be solid, just do what you need to do, and we did that, but it turned out really well. So I think, and I'm still personally trying to process that now and trying to fully appreciate that.
I love it. Well, I mean, I think each and every one of you should be beyond proud. You guys had an amazing season. We had on Jim Lambert last week, and we asked him, is this Westfield team the best public school team in state history? And he put you guys right up there with every other public school team that has ever run. So, I mean, that's a testament to all of you. So you guys should reflect and be proud. I know sometimes we get lost because we go from, as distance runners, we have 3 seasons and then summer training, but just take a time, whether together or on your own, and just say, wow, kind of like Tage just said, we just freaking did that. That was an amazing season. So we are so proud of you guys here wasn't it wonderful?
If you guys don't brag and gloat, we'll do it for you every week, because it's awesome. Dave, you want to keep going around?
No, we're good. But I did want to ask the 2 coaches, it's not common that you go to the national meet. How much has that changed your preparation for this upcoming winter season? Like, was there a time you said, like, we have to kind of scale everything back, or is it just kind of full bore like you would any other year?
We scaled it back a good bit. We took our usual break of between cross and winter track. We take a pretty good break. So we took 2 weeks. These guys are going to open up. We have our county meet on the 17th, next Wednesday. So they'll open up then. So that's a little bit later, I think. This time last year, having gone to the regional meet, I think we opened up on January 5th or 6th, something like that. So a little bit more time to get going. That's kind of the cost of extending the season out. That it's only one more week, but it's physically demanding. It's also mentally and emotionally demanding too. And so there's recovery that needs to happen there too. So that part of it, it does come at a bit of a cost, we don't have anything real big and real important for a good number of weeks still.
Yeah, I mean, I like what you say, because I think the mental component is just as important as the physical one, because you're going week after week and then you're traveling. So I think that's really cool that you put the whole body into perspective and not just the physical aspect.
It can be a really long year. If you're trying to redline it all year, that's tough. You got to pick your spots, So, and so if you pick your spot and it turns out to be a really big spot, then someone's got to give someplace else.
Yep.
So Avery, this is a question for you here. So you obviously had a fantastic individual season, right? And I think you're going to have great indoor and outdoor season as well. What is it like? When did it dawn on you that you were the leader of a top 20 team in the country? Like, has that dawned on you yet that like your consistency can't be understated, right? It can't be understated just how consistent that you were, either winning races or top of the pack, and even at nationals running really well, probably not as well as you want, because we all want more. But so have you given that a moment to kind of wash over you, that like you did a good job as a leader and now you guys are forever going to be a top 20 team in the nation? How does that feel? Has that kind of registered yet?
Yeah, I mean, the mark we left on, New Jersey State running and Westfield running, and this team is huge. But I don't know, it's still, I guess it's never really clicked. I've been running with these boys for 4 years, so it's kind of same old, like, we accomplished amazing things this year, but nothing changed with how we trained, with the things we did. And I mean, sure, I did finish in our first spot most races, but I work out with these guys and I know how fit they are. And there was never a race where I stepped up to the line and thought, I'm going to win this race, or I'm going to be our number one guy. There was always a thought in the back of my head that was, hey, what if I don't win? And I was okay with that. Coach made it a point that, our finish order didn't matter. And that's what made our team so strong this year. If our 5 guy 1 week finished second the next week, and if our 2 guy then finished 5th, no one cared because we were succeeding as a team. So it never really mattered to me that I was finishing first. And I was never, overconfident. And I never took that for granted, because I always knew that, one of these other guys could take that from me any day. But I mean, I ended up, finishing first most races. And I mean, it was a pleasure to lead these boys, even though I'm definitely not a leader. I mean, we all contribute just as much to this team, so it'd be unfair to call me a leader to them.
I mean, the mark of a true leader, especially a talented one, is being humble, and it's something you can't teach. And you're a really humble young man, so you're gonna go far, Avery. That's freaking awesome. It's just a way to hear you speak about the camaraderie and the way you are, and it definitely reflects well on Coach Tafelski and Coach Van Deursen and how that they are teaching you guys and helping you guys be young men. So, Jimmy, I want to jump to you. What is it, have you guys been getting, any sort of attention from, because obviously Strava is such a big freaking deal, right? Everyone knows everyone. You guys are so much friendlier with kids from other schools than we ever freaking were. Dave talks about how much he hates everyone still. I think Tafelski's the same way. You kind of hate everyone, and then you see some of them in college, and it's like, I guess I don't hate you anymore. We're now teammates. But have you gotten some like positive feedback from other like athletes around like, Union County and things like that, and even in the state, like, hey, nice job, or like, or what has that been like coming back from there, especially like public school? Because like I said, we puffed our chest out with what you guys did as a public school. It's freaking awesome.
I feel like a lot of us here are really good friends with a lot of people in Union County and all over New Jersey. And I think it's really cool. Even some seniors who graduated last year, some teammates of ours, and some people who are in Union County last year were giving us props of everything. And not much of us really use Strava, but there were a lot of props given to us regardless. But yeah, I think it's really cool. Even our own school really recognized us a little more, and there's been a lot of props in the hallways from people who wouldn't normally follow track, which is really cool to see. And we're just hoping it progresses throughout the year. And
yeah, that's always awesome. It's nice to get for XC and distance runners to get noticed. It's freaking awesome, right? It's not very common that we get the props that we deserve, but it is awesome. So, Dave, you got something there?
No, I just want to. So, you guys have so much left in this school year. I'm sure you guys are looking forward to the pen relays in the States, but it seems like you guys, like most runners who have good teammates, do you guys get more excited for relay races or more of the individual thing? Because I was always big on, I loved running with my teammates as relay races rather than just saying, oh, like I won my race. I guess we could start with Ryan.
Yeah, I would say, I love the relay races, just 4 guys going at it as hard as they can for every single race. It's just fun racing, then passing it off to your teammate and just watching him go for it. It's just more like gets your guys together.
I agree. Now, Avery, you are a person who could obviously qualify as an individual too. So where do you find out? Would you rather sacrifice like an individual thing to help out the team in a relay, or you're like, no, coach, like I want to get mine? Because it seems like you're going to pick the relay route.
Sure, it's always nice to have a shiny new PR, but in the running world, everyone knows cross country is the most fun sport because of the camaraderie and because of the sportsmanship and having teammates around you. And in track, there's not as much of that. So a relay is the closest thing you get. And there's no feeling like finishing a cross country race and having 6 other guys with you, and you're like, yeah, we did that. So yeah, the closest thing to that in track is relays. So I'm always down for a DMR or 4 mile, something like that. It's always fun.
So I will say this. For you guys, it's probably real easy to say the relays because you guys are freaking fast. So you guys are going to be competitive. I feel like people that don't have like as much of a group would say individual more. Dave, I don't know about you. You could like the relays because at South, you guys were monsters. Your 4x8 was freaking good. But if you're sitting there and it's like, oh, I'm a 155 guy, but I'm with like a bunch of 215 guys. I don't know if the relays would be as fun there. So I'm just throwing that out there. So what I want to do is, before we close out here, I want to ask each and every single one of you individually. We're going to start this with Ryan, our junior. What are your goals, indoor and outdoor, going forward the rest of this season? And, kind of let us know like what races you're focusing on and if you have any times, any goals that you want. So Ryan, let's start with you.
Yeah. So for the indoor and outdoor, really just trying to see how much faster I can get really indoor. I'm planning on going the 32 route and then reassessing by the time we get to spring, and really just looking for like in the 9 teens. And then I think I'd be satisfied with that and just see where I'm at there and just then reassess when I get to the spring.
I like it. Graham,
so funny hearing.
Go ahead.
Hearing any kid in high school, I'd be satisfied, 9 teens. I'm like, geez.
Yeah, I know. That was like competing in like mock like back in our day, like winning meet champs. Now it's like, I'd be satisfied with that. Maybe getting to like a fast heat every once in a while with the 19. Like, Jesus Christmas. All right, Graham, what are
you guys are so fast. You guys are fast.
So for my seniors here, what is your goal for indoor, outdoor, and then beyond? Do we look like college? Are you committed? Are you looking to run in college? So give us a little bit of everything there. So Graham, you got this the floor.
So I'm not planning on running in college, but I mean, I still have like big goals. Last year, a winter, I didn't really get very close to my PRs, and I just like struggled a little bit in the winter. So I think this winter I'll just try to kind of PR or at least get back to where I was in the spring. And I mean, my favorite event has always been the mile. So like if that ends up working out that way, then I'll be happy. But I mean, I like the 32. I like the 8. So can't really go wrong.
Very nice. Yep. Awesome. So Alex, you're up next. What are your goals, indoor, outdoor, college? What are we looking at?
Yeah, so indoor, last year towards like the end of spring, I was getting into a pretty consistent groove of just like running a mile, running an 8. And I was on a pretty, like a strong trend of just like getting faster each race. So that's something I definitely want to continue with. I'm not sure like what event I'm going to focus on this year, but I'd love to just get under 420 and maybe under 155. And as for college, I haven't decided yet, but I plan on running in college.
I'll just throw it out there for anyone that hasn't decided yet. There's a red singlet behind us, Marist.
You
guys are fast
unapologetic
enough.
with that.
We would love to have our fast guys. I am absolutely always recruiting for Marist. Damn it! All right. Anyway, Tage, on to you. What are your goals? College? What do we got?
I think I'm a 2 mile guy. I ran a ton of miles last year, so we're gonna try the 2 mile. Again, I haven't run it since sophomore year. So like maybe like 9:10s around that would be pretty cool for me. And then just dropping some seconds in that mile PR. I'm gonna run at MIT next year.
Great school.
And and if we're gonna close out, I feel like if we're doing this, we have to shout out Caleb. He was our 8th guy this whole season. And he worked really hard. He was like always training with us, always supporting us at the races. And like he was like a really big part of our team. So then he contributed a lot to it. So even though he didn't, make it to nationals with us or like on that varsity 7, he was definitely just a huge part of what we did.
Shout out Caleb.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
He certainly pushed me to be faster as the 7th guy. Like I knew it wasn't like an unfriendly competition, obviously, but just knowing that he was right there in my back pocket, like I just knew that I always had to stay focused. So it promoted me to be fast.
Graham, it's okay. You don't have to let the coaches know you were throwing elbows in some of the workouts to slow them down. You don't gotta let them know. You'll talk about it a few years down the line when you're out of college or whatever. You'll be able to come back to Coach Tafelski and be like, yeah, I definitely tripped him during the time trial, but But anyway, I'm gonna continue going here. Jimmy, what are your goals, indoor and outdoor and beyond?
For indoor and outdoor, I think I'm going to try to stay with the 8, but I think I'll experiment by running a couple of 16s or miles, maybe 1 or 2 in the winter, but definitely a lot more in the spring. And then maybe I can even sneak in a 2 mile and see where I'm at with that. But yeah, I mean, I'm really excited to run a lot of relays.
Coach Tafelski's reaction said a lot about not sneaking in the 2 mile.
I'll sneak it in somehow. But for the time wise, I think between indoor and outdoor, as similar to Alex, I want to go under 155, maybe 154. For the mile, definitely under 420. But yeah, I'm really excited to see where it goes. And then for college, I want to run in college, but I'm still looking around. So stay posted on that.
So, quickly to both Alex and Jimmy, any consideration with the 400 or 4x4? You're 155 guys. There's room in the 4x4 for guys that can run 155. You're usually splitting anywhere near 50. So have you guys experimented? Alex, jumping first, 400.
Last year I ran a couple 400s, at least like for our 4x4, where it falls. We have a couple strong sprinters that'll probably fill in a couple spots. And I haven't run a 400 in a while, but Jimmy and Ryan are both very good at the 400 as well. So if it's going to be a distant spot, it'll definitely be competitive. But I think my strengths lie in probably more middle distance.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
I think I'm kind of a 4.8, 16 guy at the moment. I did run a lot of 4x4s last year, especially in outdoor. And yeah, I'm just excited if I get the chance to run another one, whether on the relay or in the open in the spring. So yeah, I'm excited.
I enjoyed nothing more than dropping down and running open 4 and beating some of our faster 400. Being like, you guys suck.
Listen.
I'm an 800 guy.
It is a coach's dream when they hear kids say, I want to run the 4x4. So
Hey, I remember our legendary coach, John Musoff at Manchester. He was like, the whole team is based around your 4x4. If you got a good 4x4, you got a good team. That was his whole entire motto. So, there you go. You got some of your 800 guys, your fast ones that are hungry to drop down and run a 4x4. That is a coach's dream. So last but not least, Avery, goals for indoor and outdoor and beyond. What do we got?
Yeah. So first, definitely, I want to give a shout out to Caleb. He definitely did not reap some of the rewards that we did this season, but he definitely put in the same work. So shout out to him. So my goals, sub 9, 410 are definitely on the radar. I think I'm definitely capable of running pretty far, sub 9. So I'm excited for that opportunity. And depends on how generous coach is feeling, but sub 2 is definitely my big goal this season. I'm kidding. I hate the 8, but my PR is currently 2:03. I think Coach penciled in a 2 flat .99 for me somehow. Those 2 seconds were lost, but So sub 9, 410.
If you're a 410 guy, you have no reason to not run a fast 8. That's just not wanting to run a fast 8 at that point.
And then I'm going to run at Princeton next year.
Awesome. So I do have to say, no pressure, but you're a part of Jim Lambert's bold predictions of 4 guys that are going to go under 9 in indoor for the 32. So no pressure. You just want to keep Jim consistent there. So you are one of his guys that he highlighted as guys that can go sub 9 there. So, but you have a really good group of 2 guys at least that want to go 9-10. So you're going to have a real good pack to train with. So that's going to be fun. So this is Coach Van Deursen. What is your goals for the team, specifically for this group right here, coming in indoor and outdoor? And as a coach, how are you trying to get the best out of them, knowing that they just ran so freaking much in cross country and that, there's a good chance that a dead leg period happens during indoor? Like, how are you planning on coaching them through this?
Well, I don't oversee them during the winter and the spring, but I coach another school, but I know that, Coach Tafelski's plan, and being at nationals too, there's so many teams that don't even have an indoor season, but then come out and have an awesome spring and then a great cross country. And so what we've seen from a lot of the teams in New Jersey that have gone to NXN, they're really downplaying the winter, taking a long time before they race again. I think the idea that, Coach Tafelski has of like not racing so much, and just focusing on training, I think will pay off for them.
Definitely. So, Coach, I'm going to get Coach's opinion, Dave. And then, so Coach, for you, managing these boys right here, trying to make sure that they stay fresh, what is your plan, indoor, outdoor, and what do you foresee as long as everyone stays healthy in terms of what they could do?
Staying healthy is the number one goal.
Yes.
It is the number one goal. Yeah. I mean, a lot of what we've done over the last couple of years in track with these guys and some of the guys who have come before them is let's just stay the course and be rock solid with our training and build up a good block and kind of see where it takes us, And so, we don't talk about a lot of time goals. We'll kick them around every now and again, but a lot of it is let's just rack up a lot of good training and see how good we can get and just kind of see where that road ultimately takes us. So one thing that I do like doing when we I like doing the relay scene at the national meets. I'll hear guys requests for individual races if that's their thing, and a lot of that depends on how the state meets play out. Some guys, you go through sectionals, groups, MOC, and maybe you get your fill of the individual scene, and then you're excited to see what we can do as a relay squad. So a lot of it remains to be seen with how the state meets play out and so forth. But one thing that I would definitely want to throw in, and it's not surprising to me at all that these guys brought up Caleb Steckman as our 8th guy. This was one of those years. We had 8 varsity guys for a 7-man roster. And so, but also if I could, in a similar vein, these guys competing in Union County, they're ready for anything because Union County is just so consistently good. Union County has brought us last year's Media Champions winner in cross country, last year's indoor and outdoor Media Champions winner in the 16, last year's Media Champions winner indoors in the 32, last year's outdoor MOC winner in the 8. You've got a Union Catholic cross country team that beat CBA a couple of years ago. Just top to bottom, Union County produces national caliber track athletes. And so on the one side, these guys never get a break. There's no easy meet. The local competition is as good as the state level and even some of the national level competition that we face. So when you go through that like gauntlet, like every meet has like these, it's like, sometimes it's like, it takes a little reality check. Like, guys, yeah, you're running against a Group 4 state champion, a Group 3 state champion, an MOC winner. It's still just counties, guys. Like, it's okay. It's okay. We've got another month, and so like that perspective, I think, is important too. And so, we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. We're just kind of stay the course, stay healthy, and we'll see where it goes.
So is Jimmy running a 32?
Oh, absolutely.
I like it. And
the 32 is no longer in our day. The 32 was where the slow guys got dumped.
Not anymore.
The 32 is legit now.
we were talking about that with Jim. Out of the distance races, that is the race to watch in indoor right now, the 3200, which is lots of fun and different. And my last question for you, and I'll let you take it away afterwards, Dave. Penn relays. Do you have a focus yet for what you want to do? Because you have a fast group of guys here. Do you have a race that you're eyeing, or is it a little bit too early to kind of be thinking about that? Because I know everyone's qualifying indoor now. That's the main goal. Qualify early in indoor for as many as you want, and then pick out which ones you get to do. Pick out your best one come Penn relay. So what's our focus here? What's our little preview?
Yeah, I mean, again, we'll see how it goes. I mean, this is unfortunately this year and last year too. It's unfortunate that you're no longer allowed to run both the DMR and the 4x8. Yeah. And I actually, I had them on the phone last year and I said, hey, listen, take a look. We will not double anyone, because they had teams that abused it. Back and they'd qualify in the DMR and the 4x8 and they'd run a B squad in the 4x8 that really didn't belong there. Yeah. So I understand why they changed it. They also have a rule: if you run the DMR, you can't have a kid run the mile. You can't have a kid run the 3K. I think that rule's a little bit looser, so we'll see on that. But again, it kind of depends on how things play out over the indoor season.
Definitely. I like the coach answer right there. I enjoy that. The very experienced coach giving the coach answer. So Dave, go ahead. You had something.
No, I was just going to say, I have a bold prediction. I think Westfield will have 2 teams under 10-15 at some point during the winter and outdoor season.
I think so. I think that's a fair prediction. I'm not going to lie. With this group of guys, I think that is a fair prediction. And with that, Westfield, thanks for coming on, guys. This was a freaking great show. You boys are awesome. You guys had a fantastic season, and I think you guys are going to do some special things. Come indoor and outdoor. I plan on seeing all your names, and I will be hunting down Coach for all your PRs. Don't worry. So I can give you guys some announcements. So I'll do the rundown real quick again. So everyone go out and look for him. The Westfield coaches, Coach Tafelski, obviously head coach, and Coach Van Deursen. Where are you, Coach? Indoor and outdoor wise, where are you? Just because
I coach at Jonathan Dayton, so we're right next door in Springfield.
All right, so Jonathan Dayton, go look for Coach over there, because he's the Westfield coach right now. So we're promoting him, and then running down the team. Graham Korins, Alex Valencia, Eamon Mason, Tage Mehta, Ryan Daly, Jimmy Gildea, and Avery Keith. That makes up the varsity 7. Sad that Eamon couldn't make it on. He was sick, but we appreciate you 6 boys for coming on. Obviously here talking in ovals, we wish you guys all the luck and hope that you guys hit all your goals, stay healthy. And first and foremost, the most important thing that you guys need to do, listen every week and tell everyone you know. If you guys don't do that, we will start bad-mouthing you. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, guys, thanks so much for coming on. We appreciate it. Dave, do you have any last thing to say before we jump out of here?
This is awesome. This is why we do this kind of thing, to give everyone a platform and a place where we can give credit to these amazing kids that are doing so many wonderful things in this great sport that we all love.
Definitely. So everyone, we'll be back next week. I don't think there will be 9 of us, but we'll be back with another guest and we look forward to it. So thanks so much for listening, everyone. So long.